Hi you guys, so this video is going to be about how I set up my interactive notebook for a middle school ELA class. So if you're interested in finding out more information about that, keep watching. So I'm just going to do a midweek check-in. I decided to vlog a little bit today because my kids started their interactive notebooks. So I'm just going to give you a look at how we started setting them up, and then I guess throughout the school year I'll let you know how it's going. I'm doing things a little bit differently, and I kind of want to document this journey. So let me go get my notebook. I know I turned around really fast. I hope I didn't make you guys dizzy. Okay, so I asked my kids to, that was really close. So I asked my kids to bring a 5-subject notebook, and I didn't even have one for myself. I have a 3-subject, but you'll get the idea. This is just the example. Okay, so I asked them to bring a 5-subject spiral notebook, preferably 5-star, because it has the plastic durable cover, and it lasts all school year. Last year when they had the paper ones, they would tear off, and that was frustrating. Okay, so let me turn the camera around. So it's the 5-star, the durable plastic cover. And on the first page, they have to have Smalls World University. They have to put their name somewhere on the front page. And then we started doing this Zentangle. And this is something that I encourage them to do while they're waiting. So let's say we're taking notes, or they're taking a break from a novel that they're reading. Just to keep their minds and their hands busy, they can work on their Zentangle. And I explained to them that Zentangles are not supposed to be completed in one day. It's just a little doodle. It's just a little stress-free, stress reliever activity. So next I have the Smalls World University class procedures. So that's this page. And we go over that on the first day of school. And then I have their multiple intelligences assessment. Okay, so what I like about this assessment is that it has 9 categories to go along with Howard Gardner's 9 areas of intelligence. And they go through and they just put check marks next to each of the sentences if it applies to them. So if in section 1 I had 5 check marks, then I put 5 in my box and I multiply that by 10, and that will give me 50. If in box 2 I have 3, I put it in this box, so 3 times 10, and that's 30. And they do that because the next portion is going to ask them to create a bar graph for their multiple intelligences so they can see which ones they're strong in and which ones maybe not so much. And then it asks them 3 questions about their intelligences here. And then on this side, it explains what each area, each of the 9 areas, what that means. Okay. Then the next thing I'm showing you is the Google Classroom and Google Apps scavenger hunt. And it looks like this. And, okay, so yesterday we did the scavenger hunt, and I had the computers, and I don't know what you guys call them in your school district. In fact, if you guys would comment below, because I'm kind of interested to see what you guys call them. So our computers are on a cart, and the cart has wheels, so we call them computers on wheels. For short, we call them cows. So C-O-W, cow. So yesterday we had a cow, and that's funny. We had a cow yesterday. Okay, so we had a cow yesterday, and the kids got to log in and do the Google scavenger hunt. And each portion of the scavenger hunt was a skill that I knew that they were going to need to be successful with Google Classroom and Google Apps. And we included it in our notebook as a reference sheet. So after they completed, I know that they did it correctly when I check my email and I check Classroom if the correct assignments are there. But then they have something to refer back to once it's all done. So it tells them how to log in, what their password is. It tells them, is asking them what the different symbols mean, because they will need that. And there is a back portion too, and that's just telling them how to create a document and how to share it with me and how to change the editing rights. So this year, something that I'm doing differently is I'm having the kids chart their own progress for their SMAs. And their SMA is a Their SMA is a standard of mastery assessment, and they do those every 3 weeks. And every week we do a different standard. In 3 weeks we take a assessment on those standards to see how they did, and we do that across our school district. Well, ordinarily I would track the class average on my data tracker, and if you watched my classroom tour video, then you saw the data tracker. But if you didn't, I'm going to stand in front of it so you can see it. Okay, so this is the data tracker back here. I have 2 classes, the freshman and the sophomore, and what they do, well, what I do is I put the class average up here on the percentage board, and then on the bar graph here, I shade up the class average so we can watch which standards we did well and which standards we didn't do so well on, so we know where to focus our attention. So it's that same concept, but it's individualized in their notebook. So I'm asking the kids to track their progress by shading in the bar graph, and I'm taking it a step further because I've also added an SMA reflection journal. I'm going to see how close I can get. Okay, so here they're going to put the SMA number. So if we're taking the first assessment and their score, which 3 standards did we work on, and I will provide the standards for them. And then it says this is what the standard means. So in their words, they're going to explain what these 3 standards mean. And then it says this is how I would describe or explain. I'm sorry, it's school time and the bell just rang. Okay, so this is how I would describe or explain the standard, and they can either write something, they can illustrate something, or do word art, like maybe they would do an acronym or a mnemonic. How would they get their idea across? The next box is I expected to. What did you expect from this assessment? Did you expect that you would do well, and why was that your expectation? Or did you expect to do well and then you didn't? Why didn't you do so well? And then what are your goals for the next assessment? Whether you were successful or not, whether you were proficient or not, I should say, that doesn't matter, because there's always room to improve. What is your plan for next time? Let's make a goal, let's set a goal, let's make a plan, and then let's work toward it. And I feel like this is how we would get the buy-in from the students. As teachers, we have all these ideas of how to, get kids involved and how to make these numbers real for them. But if they're not interacting with these numbers and touching them and watching them go up and down, if they're not manipulating the information, it's not going to mean anything to them. And we need their total buy-in to move the scores, to make them more successful, so they can take ownership of the results. Okay? And no, that's not saying that, the scores are the end-all be-all. That's not what I'm saying. But if we're going to be looking at scores, we're going to be looking at data, our instruction should be driven by data. We all have to put our hands on it, not just the teacher. The students have to be an active participant in their learning. And I feel like that's what this portion of our notebooks would do for them. Now, I know that was a whole long rant about data. That is not all that is in this notebook. So the rest of this section, will be dedicated to classwork and notes. The second portion of their notebook is going to be for the AOW, which is Articles of the Week. And these are articles that I pull offline, some that teachers have already pulled, so I don't have to do additional work, and then some are articles that I find on my own and I feel like are interesting and that would also be high interest to the students. So the first section is classwork and notes and data, and then the second section is dedicated to AOW, which is Articles of the Week. And then the final section will be our reflection section. Now, if you read the book Whisperer, I have that book somewhere, let's see. If you read the book Whisperer, she talks about the 40 book challenge and about, it's dark back here. It's only gonna take a second, guys, I promise. Only a second. Okay, I got it. So if you read the book Whisperer, this is what it looks like, by Donna Lynn Miller. She talks about the 40 book challenge and students writing reflection letters to their teacher. I found this on Teacher Pay Teachers. I will look it up to see who posted it, but I think it was free at the time. I don't know if it's still free, but they had a whole 40 book challenge packet. I'm not doing the whole 40 book challenge the way it was designed. I'm doing my own take on it, but I do want the kids to write reflection letters. And so, in the reflection portion of their notebook, it tells them what a response letter is, and I've highlighted some key points. It gives them a student example letter, and here you can see that this example was taken from the book Whisperer. It gives them possible topics for their letter, and then it talks about a book presentation, and I'm not going to go in depth about the presentation because I'll do a separate video about that. We do book talk videos in my class. Then we have reading requirements to make sure that the students are reading over a variety of genres. And then I have important dates. So these are the due dates for all of their reading reflections and all of their book talks. And then the rest of this notebook, one more thing. And then I have their reading logs where they're keeping track of the books they're reading this year. And if they run out of space and any more of these, I'll provide them for them. But the rest of the notebook will be dedicated to reading reflections. Whew. Okay, so that was a lot. I know that was a lot. I hope you weren't bored by that. I hope you didn't think I was just rambling, but I had so much information I was trying to get out and I have such little time. If you have questions about how I do my interactive notebook, or if you have suggestions for me, maybe you're doing something really awesome in your classroom, please share it with me. Let me try it out. Let me add it. It's still the beginning of the school year. I still have time to put it in place. And so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you like it and also subscribe. Hit that red button down there. And I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.